So let's talk about what role joy takes in this and also meeting with your father on the other side.
Yes. So when I was there on the other side, basically outside of my body. So there I was. I realized I was also surrounded by beings, other beings that had passed before me. Possibly some of them had never been incarnate before, because there were some beings I didn't recognize. But I just felt love emanating from them, and I felt that they were there to guide me, to help me, to protect me. They were just all there for me. And one of the beings was my dad, and he had died 10 years prior. And he was one of the people that had always been disappointed in me because I was a little rebel, and I didn't go through with the arranged marriage, and I brought shame to our entire community and was ostracized. So he was somebody I had disappointed and let down my entire life. And he was also the one that had instilled fear in me, the fear of the afterlife, the fear of not being married at a certain age, the fear of just not being enough, good enough, not being accepted in my society. So this whole fear and living from a place of fear of disapproval, fear of not fitting in, it all came as a result of my relationship with my dad. And so
And ultimately, the fear of not being able to make it into nirvana.
yes, and ultimately the fear of not being good enough. So in other words, in Western culture, being told that you're not good enough or clean enough to enter nirvana and that you will always be relegated to lifetime after lifetime here is the equivalent of somebody who is, let's say, Christian, being told that you will not get into heaven. And so what's the alternative?
That's heavy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like being in the downstairs place forever, for all of eternity.
So now you're seeing your dad on the other side. Let's talk about what that reunion was like and how dad feels when he's not under the pressures of earth life himself.
So when I met my dad on the other side, so here we are spirit, we are not physical bodies. And I realized that when we leave our physical bodies behind, we leave not only our physical bodies, but our gender, our biology. So we can't speak with we don't have voice boxes. We don't have physical eyes. It's pure awareness, just pure awareness. And we become aware of a whole other dimension that you can't see with your physical eyes. And so we leave behind our culture, our gender, all of it, our religion. I realized all of those things are from here. They're all a here thing. They're not a there thing. So there I was with my dad, his pure essence and my pure essence. And all I felt from him was pure, unconditional love. No judgment whatsoever, like none. He understood me. And because we don't use language and we don't use our voices, it's almost like two spirits or two souls merging, and you know what they want you to know, and they know what you want them to know. It's like you just understand each other. You get each other in an instant. And he wanted me to know that there was nothing wrong with me and that he loved me unconditionally. And just as much as I thought I was a victim of my culture, he was a victim of the same culture, just doing the best he could within that culture.
Yes. And so then he had a message for you because you were sitting on the other side saying, woohoo, no pressure, no weight. This is great.
Yes.
But obviously things changed. So let's talk about your father's message to you, how you felt when having to look at this, because you actually had to make a decision.
That's right. So I was given a choice as to whether to come back or not. I reached a point where I was told that this is the point of no return. Basically, if you go any further, you won't be able to turn around. But I wanted to keep going, of course, because who wants to come back into a dying body? And I was suffering. But my dad was the one who stopped me. And he said, your work isn't done yet. You haven't completed your purpose. You need to go back. Now that you know the truth of who you really are, you need to go back. And I realized that I understood why I had got sick. And I started to understand that now that I understood this, if I chose to go back, my body would heal, and it would heal very quickly. I just knew that it was going to heal very quickly because I now had the essence or the consciousness of a person who was not sick. And the body is a reflection of your consciousness.
I hope you're enjoying this video, because if you are, there are dozens more like it on my site, all supported by people like you. So if you'd like to keep this work rolling in and join our community, just click on the Patreon button at reginameredith.com. That also gives you access to insider commentary, my live book club, and other live events with special guests. So join in. Thanks.
But I still didn't want to go back yet. But my dad said, you have gifts waiting for you, and you need to just go back and live your life fearlessly. And what he meant by that was be yourself fearlessly. But his message was go back and live your life fearlessly. And it was at that point that I started to open my eyes and come out of the coma, which I had been in the coma for about between 30 to 36 hours. And for me, what was interesting is that my dad was the one who instilled fear in me during life. But my dad was also the one who broke that fear in death. So it was, he released me
There's a
from that fear.
beauty, such a beauty and balance that it was him that was able to give you that. That's absolutely beautiful. So now let's talk about what it feels like when you have been free. Now, we all go through this at night when we're dreaming. We're out of body to a fair extent. We're out of body, but we're still connected. You were still connected by a thread, but you consciously had to come back into the body. What was it like coming back into that body? And then let's talk about what happened right after that.
Coming back into the body, of course, I started to feel all the aches, the pains, the discomforts. My body had open skin lesions. It weighed 85 pounds, and it was connected to all these tubes. But mentally, emotionally, and in every other way, I was euphoric because I knew that life was not going to be a struggle. I was looking forward to the gifts that my dad was talking about. And so I thought, okay, this is exciting. I wonder what awaits me. And so I felt like a little kid that was just about to go to their own birthday party or something like that. Like, what are the presents going to be? What are the gifts going to be? And what started to happen is, so I started to say things to everybody around me. I started to say things like, Dad is here. It's not my time to die. And also, while I was in that out-of-body state, I could hear and see everything that had been happening in this hospital room while I was in the coma. So I started to relate all these things to the people around me. I said, oh, that's the doctor that was trying to put needles into my veins and couldn't find any veins. And they said this, and that's the doctor that took the fluid out of my lungs. And so my family were like, how did you recognize them? How do you know you were in a coma? And the doctor was telling my family this whole time that she's still critical. And, they come in and out of the coma when they're at this stage. So don't get your hopes up. But in about 4 days' time, they saw that I wasn't going back in the coma, and that I was wanting to sit up, and I was wanting to eat real food because I'd been being fed through liquids prior to that. And the tumors were actually shrinking. And so within like 5 days or so, they noticed there was like a 60% shrinkage in those golf ball sized tumors. And they were shocked. They didn't even know what to put in my medical records. 3 weeks after this, they were having difficulty finding any trace of cancer in my body. I
just love this.
Yes.
And this was because you were living in this state of fearless joy, knowing you were loved and accepted in the greatest sense of the word. That's what started allowing for the healing energies to really move in.
Yes. It's really that feeling, that euphoric feeling of, oh, wow, I can't get it wrong. I wasn't wrong.
Right.
I'm supposed to live my life full out and allow my soul to express itself. And it was just that understanding that all that burden I had carried all these years of, I have to erase my karma, I have to do better, I have to be more spiritual, I'm never going to get to nirvana. All that was just lifted, just completely lifted off.
That's so beautiful. And that was the thing that, as I was saying earlier, speaking with my soul group on occasion about these things, they kept stressing over and over that to flow into fearless joy and love and beauty, that these were the keys really to. The way they're explaining it is when you allow yourself to truly find joy, and and that, what does that mean on the deepest level for everyone? A lot of times we think, oh, I love going to, concerts. That's my joy. And that is joy. And it's wonderful. And we should do it. Anything that brings joy, but also that deeper joy of satisfaction, which you connected with, which was why you couldn't leave at that time. Anyone who can find that, what brings that deeper joy and satisfaction within, is living fearlessly if you can move into it. And it's just releasing the fear that allows one to continually sort of refining your frequencies. It's not an act. It's not like an intentional, I'm going to refine my frequencies through meditation. It wasn't that. It's through creating this innate beauty and purpose and joy within oneself seems to be the healing factor and the one that allows us just to keep blossoming beautifully. How would you extend that?
You just expressed it so beautifully. And for me, it was realizing that my only purpose is to find that joy. So what I understood, here's how I understood it, is that we spend our lifetime trying to do more, be more, whether it's to be better, attain more, trying to do things so that we don't meet other people's disapproval. And that's actually how we lose our way. In other words, trying to be good, trying to do the right thing, all of these things, we actually lose our way because we're trying to be something we're not. And the message it sends when we try to be these things, including trying to be spiritual, the message we're sending ourselves is that we're not good enough as we are. And so we have to try harder. So even, and so people say to me, it's all very well for you to say that you were a good person. What about criminals and so on? And I say, even criminals are criminals because they've lost their way. They're not being who they are. At our soul level, at our spirit level, all of us have come here for connection, for love, to find our passion, to find our joy, but we lose our way. And this is what drives us to do or be what we do. Some people act out and maybe act out and become criminals. Other people turn it inward and get cancer. But it's the same thing. It's a repressed energy. It's your soul repressing itself. And so it shows up in different ways in your life. And so for me, since the experience, I've realized that we are already spiritual. And there's this quote that I really love, like, you can't not be spiritual. You're born spirit, you're born spiritual, you die into spirit. How can you not be spiritual in your natural state? So there's this beautiful quote I love of when Michelangelo was asked how he created these beautiful statues of angels just from pieces of stone or marble. They were just blocks of rock, and he would just carve with no designs or anything. He would carve out these beautiful statues of angels. And his response was, the angel is already there. I just chip away until I set the angel free. And so this is what we are. Our beauty, our purity, our love, our joy, our passion, our soul, it's already there. So it's not about doing more, being more, trying harder. It's freeing that which is already there and to stop adding all those layers.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you might also want to consider joining Patreon, which allows me to keep all of this content free and available to everyone. And if you're looking for like-minded souls, you might also enjoy my online community called Our Neighborhood. Links to join are in the description.